We having fun yet?
Yes!
All right. Well, it's good to be here again. My name is Chris Godber. God, G-O-D, and then Burr, like it's bird, it's cold outside, B-E-R. So I live in Panama City, Florida, but glad to be with you guys tonight. Thank you for having me. Thank you for making me feel welcome. How about this band up here again? They're amazing. Doing all this music week after week for each artist. They put a lot of work in. When I was, let's see, I'm a military kid. My dad was military for 20 years. Any veterans in the house? Yeah. Thank you so much for your service. Appreciate you guys and all that you do and did. So when I was younger, we lived in Germany. We were stationed at Bitburg Air Base, and we lived off base at a little town called Eisenach, right in the heart of Germany, very countryside, and we had cows for neighbors, and it was a neat experience growing up. You just had to watch where you stepped, you know, but it was fun. Played a lot outside, but because of where we lived at, we only picked up one TV channel on a good day. And anybody that's any good at watching TV knows that's just not a lot, you know, no ESPN or anything like that. So most of our entertainment, if I wasn't playing outside, came from music. None of my parents play any instruments, but they appreciate music. How many people just appreciate music? So that's what it was like in my household, and I grew up in a Christian home, and Christian music wasn't what it is today. There wasn't as much variety. So we listened to a lot of different things. There was a trumpet player by the name of Phil Driscoll that my parents liked to listen to. There was a particular sax player that was getting really popular in the 80s that my parents were really, really big fans of. I'm trying to think of his name, so let me just play this, see if somebody can help me out a little bit. What's his name? Kenny something. Kenny G. So my parents are big Kenny fans. And in all our home videos, you kind of hear that going in the background. And, so that was a big influence on me wanting to play the saxophone at a young age. Kind of through Inception, it kind of ingrained that in me that I wanted to play the saxophone when I got older. So when I was old enough to do that, I started a middle school band, and we were back in the States, Charleston, South Carolina. Any South Carolina folks? No, okay. That's okay. That one fell flat, but it's okay. It's all good. So Charleston, South Carolina was where we were at that time, and I wanted to join middle school band. It's the easiest way for most people to pick up an instrument. It's free, and so you get that. But my doctor told me I couldn't play the saxophone because my asthma was too bad, he said. Now, I already knew I had asthma. I was the kid with the inhaler that couldn't do PE and sports and all these other things through the years. So I already knew I had asthma, but he told me it was too bad and to play the saxophone. He said, "No, wind instruments, not going to be for you. You need to pick something different." And I really wanted to play. And what happens when somebody tells you can't do something?
You do it.
It makes you want to try harder, doesn't it? So whether or not that was his intention, I don't know. But he told me I couldn't do it, and that just inspired me to want to prove him wrong. And all the other people that told me I couldn't do stuff growing up. So my parents got me an alto saxophone. They rented it because they're really expensive if you don't know. They are. So they said, "I don't know if you're gonna be able to do this or not, but give it your best shot and see what you can do." And there's a lot of buttons on one of these. This is actually a saxophone too. This is a soprano saxophone. But of course I play them all, and they're just really hard to play. And there's a lot of buttons on one of these, and it takes a lot of hot air. That my 4'11" frame in 6th grade, 60 pounds soaking wet, just was a lot for me, But I really wanted to do it, and so I tried on my own, but I couldn't do it on my own. I tell you, I had to give the saxophone and my asthma and my heart and everything else to a guy named Jesus, and asked him to bless it, to play through me, to anoint it, and in doing so, if he'd let me play, that I would tell everyone about him everywhere I went and what he's done in my life. I started 6th grade band, and by 8th grade I was the first chair sax player in my band. God is good. I was also the only saxophone player in my band. The other ones dropped out. But nonetheless, they can't take that from me. In high school, we were back in, my dad retired from the Air Force, and we were back in Florida, in Panama City, Tyndall Air Force Base. And so in high school, any of you that know, in ninth grade, the guidance counselor kind of sits you down when you're enrolling classes and asks you what you want to do for your life, the rest of your life. And as a ninth grader, of course, you've got it all figured out. You know what you're going to do, you know. So my plan was to go in the military, like my dad. I wanted to go fly jets because I watched Top Gun, you know, too much, and my dad, you know, so I just wanted to do that. And I thought blowing stuff up would be fine, God would be cool with that, you know. But never stopped to ask. And so the guidance counselor says, well, you can do band, or you can do ROTC, if you know. So I play the saxophone, I want to do band, so it's one or the other, you can't do both. ROTC made the most sense. So I did ROTC for 3 years. I was really good at it. Just to find out that you can't go in the military with asthma, which would have been really nice to know up front. I could have been in band. But God knows what he's doing. Romans 8:28 says, all things work together for the good of those who love him and are called according to his purposes. I never stopped playing the saxophone the whole time. I've been playing saxophone at my church and our praise and worship band, where they don't give you music. You just have to figure out what key they're in, because half the time they don't know, and figure it out. And that's where I learned how to play by ear and ad-lib and write my own music and things like that. So God knew what he was doing, and that was all part of the plan. And after that, once I found out I couldn't go to the military, I started taking this music thing a little bit more serious, and started writing my own songs and recording demos and albums and things like that. But I went to college, but not for music. God has a sense of humor in that too. I went to be a respiratory therapist. I do that part-time, 2 days a week, and then I play the saxophone, traveling around on the weekends. And so tonight, I'm not a respiratory therapist. Tonight, I'm a sax therapist for you guys. But should anybody stop breathing tonight, I'll be glad to help you. I want to play a little song for you guys. You'll probably recognize. It's a song I like to call Amazing Grace. Just to show how good God's grace is.
together for Chris Godber. Song how he makes you feel, perfect note.